algorithms, it's Monday. Merry Christmas, or not yet. Happy Christmas, almost Christmas Eve to Christmas Eve. Anyway, welcome back to Celebrity Court, the show where fame, scandal, and justice collides. I'm your host and Judge Al Reynolds, and today's docket, baby, is busted with high-stakes legal drama. From trial support battles to shocking allegations, we're going to be diving into cases that reveal the dark side of celebrity life. But here's the twist. We got a new twist, algorithm and viewers. We're not just talking about the legal consequences. We're putting you, the jury of the public opinion, in the driver's seat tonight. We're going to try something different. So get ready to make your judgment as we talk about these stories. All right, let's welcome our legal beagles. First up, let's welcome back that fiery civil attorney, Shatan Turner. Happy holidays. Welcome back.
Happy holidays, Your Honor. I'm just counting down, trying to get ready to make sure my kids have stuff under the tree. Pray for them.
I know you're going to have a lot of stuff under that tree. But let me ask you this. Do your kids still believe in Santa Claus? That's question number one. And question number two, because you do have a daughter that's older, how does she not spill the beans to the younger one?
So here's the thing. Yes. My oldest, the daughter who's 14, I think she has made a conscious decision on her own to say it does not advantage her to acknowledge that she knows there's no Santa. So she stays along. We do the elf on the shelf. She's looking for the elf every day, looking for her surprises, because I think she's like, there is no glory in growing up. And so I will just play along. So it's not a struggle in my house at all. She's never even hinted that she knows there's no Santa.
That's a smart woman. All right, joining the fiery Shatan Turner, we have humans at law, Sean Carter. Sean Carter, welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Happy to be here. Miss you guys on Friday. I just did my last shopping today. Actually, my first and last shopping. But all the shopping is done for the wife and the kids. I don't even know what they're getting. I'll be surprised when I find out too. I don't do that.
You were hanging out with some cowboys, I hear, this past.
I was in Omaha last week. I'm not bragging. It's where I was, and it said it was 20 degrees. Felt like -1. What it felt like is that my black ass needed to be in Arizona. That's what it felt like.
Did you get ashy?
He brought his own baby oil.
Look like I was chicken flour.
You put some lotion. All right, and last but not least, let's welcome back our attorney, the author of The Shit They Didn't Teach Me in Law School, Counselor Weiss. Welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Thank you for having me. I'm a little bit sad. Up until like 5 seconds ago, I believe that Santa was still real. I mean, come on. Shatan, you just bursted my bubble. I mean, we celebrate my daughter's birthday on Christmas here in our house as, you know, a Jewish family. That's what we do. I always thought Santa was real. And Sean, you know, I have Omaha, Nebraska visiting me. My brother's fiance plays professional volleyball in Omaha, Nebraska, and she's here in Florida enjoying the warmth.
I bet
so she's tall and big.
Tall, thin. So yeah, she is very tall.
Volleyball.
Yes, they have professional volleyball.
Huh.
She and my brother met in Germany, and they're both visiting right now.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. All right, everybody. Be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, be sure to hit that share button and invite these people over here so they can judge some people too. Turn on your notifications, because just like tonight, you know, we had to change the time because, unlike, you know, Shatan's not the only one rubbing shoulders with the VP and the president around here. I have an event tonight where I will be going to rub shoulders with our political elite here in Washington, D.C. And also, let's drop down in those comments because we love hearing from you, the jury. All right, first on the docket. Ooh, this one is juicy. If we haven't heard juicy before, LaToya Odom, the mother of Pastor Jamal Bryant's child, is demanding an increase in her child support. She claims that the current payments are insufficient to maintain their child's standard of living, considering Bryant's lavish lifestyle as a mega church pastor. Bryant, however, argues that he's already paying more than enough. Should preachers be held to higher standards when it comes to family obligations? I'm gonna throw this to you, Attorney Shaitan Turner, since you're the mother of 3, and one, isn't he like kindergarten, pre-K, or first grade?
First grade. Yeah, my youngest is in first grade. He's 6. The middle one is in 5th grade, and then my daughter's in 9th grade.
Oh, okay. So what are your thoughts about this as far as she's asking for more money, considering the mega pastor has and always shows on social media a very lavish lifestyle?
So here's the question, right? And this is how you can file for a modification of child support, is by stating why you believe it's appropriate and providing documentation of the increase. I think one of the most fascinating things about having children raised in a quote unquote broken home is whose lifestyle should benefit the children. And that's really all this conversation is about. So what she's alleging is, if this is their father, shouldn't their lifestyle be commensurate with his potential to provide it, like it would be if we were living under one roof? That's really the thing. And he's saying, I'm paying enough, but he's only saying I'm paying enough because he doesn't want to contribute the money to Latoya's household, right? If it wasn't going to her household and they were married and living under one roof, like, who's talking about, oh, I don't want to do this for my kids when they live under one roof? Nobody. Ever. This only is an issue in broken homes. And I think the court really needs to evaluate, like I said, under whose lifestyle should the kids
be? Well, this is what I've always understood, and correct me if I'm wrong, Attorney Carter. I always understood it was the lifestyle of the person who was the wealthiest, because that's who led the household when the marriage or the indiscretion happened or the making of the child. In this case, Attorney Carter, help me understand, because his other 2 kids by a Bravo celebrity lives a very lavish lifestyle. So do you think maybe she's comparing those 2 kids' lifestyle to the lifestyle that she wants for her daughter?
That's partially it. Now, in fairness, that other family he has, and by the way, the fact that I'm saying the pastor and his other family it shouldn't even be in the same sentence. All right. Let's just get this straight, because I want to get this out right now. All right. If you're a pastor and you can't be a pastor and a baby daddy, you got to pick one. All right. There's 2 lanes here, and you can't be running down both of them. All right. That's ignorant. All right. But aside from that, let's talk about the legal issues. She probably got her kids the bag in a settlement for their divorce, where there was a spousal support, a child support agreement, all that. This one, on the other hand, is he was never married to the other woman. She's not just claiming that she should get more because he makes more. And by the way, they've never disclosed how much it is. I looked for it, I asked for it, and it's been undisclosed. So he don't want us to know how much he make either. But she's saying, in addition to that, she has a change in financial circumstances. She lost her job, and the kid was just diagnosed with autism. Now, I have 2 autistic kids. All right. And that is not
be serious. Are you serious? You have 2 autistic kids? Are you calling them autistic?
Well, no. I got the other 2 are just crazy, but I got 2 legitimately, diagnosed autistic kids, and the other 2 are just weird. But the point is I understand the special needs stuff. It is a lot. My wife, for instance, has never worked outside the home since we've had kids.
It's pretty hard for her to be able to work outside.
She's got to be able to go to all those appointments, try to do therapies, et cetera, et cetera. So the idea that he shouldn't be paying more, you should be paying more. You also should be paying the Lord some of this money back, because you're telling people about the gospel and you got a baby mama.
All right, let's look at this clip right here, Jason, before we go to you. Let's take a look.
Order was Civil Action File number 16-CV-1613. The custodial parent, Ms. Odom, requested a modification of that 16-CV-1613 case number.
Okay. Jamal Harrison Bryant. Is that Pastor Bryant from Perth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So he's out of the country because he was recently married. I noticed, and he chose not to be here. That's his issue.
Yes. So
I'm actually kind of bothered that he's not here because he did not have notice. He did not have the excuse of the court. The court did not relieve him. And so he actually should be here. And the fact that he isn't here actually is that's warrant. He should a warrant should be issued for him not being present, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I've moved 4 times because he has bothered me. So in Georgia, when my address was on there, they took hinges off my door. They have moved someone in across the way. These are his friends. So I had to move to Florida with my grandmother. When I moved to Florida with my grandmother, then he sent his cousin there. I had to move from Florida. And then I finally went to Texas. I came to Texas. He vetted my residence people. They have towed my car. They have slandered my tires. I mean, I have been through the ringer with this man, and he's pretending like, oh, I'm on the stage just preaching. You're not. You are really trying to negate the fact that to meet you and to see and to say, hey, this is my truth.
Attorney Wise, I got to be honest with you. You know, I'm not saying it didn't happen to her, but I would have advised my client to let me represent her, because that whole spill there raises a question mark in my head, right?
Well, first of all, I want to know, how did they slander her tires? Did they go ahead and were they yelling at those tires? You are ugly. You are not fit to be in this car. That's slander, right? So slander the tires. No, but I mean, I'm not a family law attorney, nor do I play one on TV, and I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. But I do know that it's all statutorily based. It takes the income of the parent, it divides it up. It has to do with the formula that you put into place on where the kids are at certain times and certain days and all of this. And that's what it is. So all he's really has to do is just show his papers, and the court's going to say, aha, you make a lot more money, you should be giving more. Or the court will say, you're not making as much money, you should give less. So I'm not 100% sure, because fame doesn't equal money, right? We know that for a fact. Just because he's out there and he's doing, and there's tons of people that are Instagram rich, but they probably can't pay their mortgage or their rent. So again, it's all statutorily based. There's a formula for every single one. They might be different, and I'm not sure where they're getting divorced. And she's talked about Texas and Florida and Georgia and all these other places. So it's all statutory. It's all based. There are factors to swing it up and swing it down, but basically you follow the formula.
So attorney Turner, so do you believe that maybe she should be focusing on getting a pastor to be transparent about his finances? And if in fact that he makes more money than when she got the award, then it would increase, correct?
Yes. I mean, I think Ms. Odom could benefit for some basic counsel. She probably could get away with not having a lawyer for this. And this is, some people pick and choose when they need a lawyer for these proceedings. As lawyers, we always believe that you need one, but at most you should be knowledgeable and know that you don't slander tires, you slash them. But the thing here, right, is here's, in my opinion, and y'all can come at me if you want, you know, I'm built for it. Pastor Bryant, his biggest complaint is he does not want to be supporting 3 households, right? He is a newlywed. He's got an ex-wife with kids, and now he's got this jump off with kids, right? So as Attorney Carter indicated, his divorce settlement and subsequent child support and custody agreement with his wife, that was already wrapped up and tidy in a bow, and she's up there living fine. And ironically, one of their children is friends with my goddaughter down at Spelman, but that's an aside. He messed around and found out what happens when you use the Lord as a condom instead of right? And so he impregnated this.
I'm hoping and praying.
Yeah, and he made another baby, and so now he has to support this household.
Right.
He's got this new wife who probably has visions of sugar plums dancing in her head. And
Right.
so he is fighting against paying out this one because now he's supporting 3 households. And that's unfortunate for him, but it's the reality. And if his income has gone up, should
He
it
needs to
benefit-
pay.
Yeah,
Also,
should it benefit his new wife or should it benefit his existing child?
I think it should. I think all the kids should live the same. All his support should be the same for all the kids. That's my opinion. All right, Lakers in 5 says she meant slash. She misspoke. You're right, Laker in 5. We're just having fun tonight. God's probably on that wine. Christopher Lieberman said, when did the name of the show change? Well, all right, Christopher, that means you need to be watching the show a little more often. The name has changed, and it may change again in the new year as we evolve and make you, the jury, more involved. Yes, Attorney Weiss?
Your Honor, in Christopher Lieberman's defense, Christopher did say, I've been gone a while, Your Honor.
Oh, he's been gone a while. Okay, well, welcome back. We like you back. Be sure to hit that like button, Christopher. Lakers in 5 said he should build a compound and move them all in. I agree. All right, next up. Oh, this is my question, though, for our viewers. This is a question of the hour for the jury. Should pastors who preach prosperity practice it at home first? Let me repeat that. Should pastors who preach prosperity practice it at home first? Or is this just another case of the system squeezing a celebrity wallet? What do you think, jury? Should Pastor Bryant pay up? Or has he done enough? Or has this jump off watching all his other kids and his new wife have this very luxurious lifestyle, and she's feeling some kind of way? Because this new wife, baby, she got on a new couture dress every week. They go to all the parties. She's dolled up. She's beautiful. She's wearing the finest of everything. And as far as that's concerned, Miss Odom, that's none of your business.
Well, here's the thing. I get why the new wife is flossing and flexing, right? Because she wants to show the church hoes that they can't have her man. She wants to take enough of his money that he can't afford somebody else. I'm just saying, my sister went out with this pastor. He said the church hoes are all around. I'm just repeating. But it does not benefit their household, right? Because the more people see her flossing, the more they want to punish him. And so every time he's wearing couture, he's going to get served with an increase and a modification for child support. Because if she knows, like I know, I'm just watching to see when the new one.
Right. Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point, Attorney Turner. You're absolutely right. So, I mean, I guess I would feel some kind of way if I'm running from house to house and I can't have a stable place because your friends are running me and making my tires. What was her tire?
Slander. But she meant
all right. Sammy Musa said, lead by example. Jay says 100% practice what you preach. Christopher Liverman said yes and cut me my half too. Well, Lakers in 5 said pay up, especially since the kids have special needs. That does make a difference to me. The special needs.
And on that note, let me just say this: if you're the pastor and you're supposed to be praying over me, but you're pulling pray game this week, I don't trust the rest of your prayers. That's what I'm saying. You don't pray, and he doesn't hit snake eyes.
Say his pulling pray game this week, counselor.
Think about it.
You guys, let me bring some order back in this sport. You guys are just throwing out, calling the hoes in the church hoes, and pulling pray game out. I am done. All right, next up. Next, R&B star Chris Brown and rap icon Lil Wayne are making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Reports suggest that they use pandemic relief grants meant for small business to splurge on their luxury designer clothes. If true, this isn't just unethical, it's illegal. But here's the $1 million question. Should we hold celebrities to a higher standard, or does fame come with its own rules? I'm going to throw this to you, Attorney Carter.
Well, and here's the thing is that they got the money and for what was supposed to be legitimate purposes. They have production companies. Remember, the whole point of this money was to keep people employed. right? They weren't able to do live shows. So it's like, let's keep it employed, except for the fact that then what they start spending the money on didn't really filter down. And it's always a problem with trickle down, right? Somehow the trickle gets stuck, right? In your thigh somewhere. And this is exactly what happened here. So the money's supposed to go to all these production people so they can keep employing. And next thing you know, Lil Wayne's on a private jet. Chris Brown throws this, a 33rd birthday party for himself and spends the money, let's see, 25 grand on strippers, 20 grand on strippers, 20 grand on liquor, 10 grand on hookah. I don't even know. That's a lot of hookah. All right. I don't even know how that works. But the point is that they start spending the money on stuff they weren't supposed to. Now, are they going to jail? Probably not. Because guess who else stole the money? Everybody else. I'm the only person in America who did not, and I'm stupid. I'm mad at myself. Every day I kick myself for not stealing that PPP money.
You said not stealing it, counselor. You will not say not stealing it in my court. Take that back. Well, let me ask you this, though, Attorney Weiss. Isn't misuse of federal funds, isn't that a federal offense?
It is a federal offense. And in my state of Florida, you don't have to be a celebrity in order to have misused PPP money, because we're hearing about it all the time. All these people are buying Ferraris and buying Lamborghinis and flying all over the place and buying new houses and cars and Chanel bags and Birkin bags and all these things. So you don't have to be a celebrity. And like Attorney Carter said, I got PPP money, but it was to pay, the people that work with me. I'm not driving a Ferrari or a Lamborghini thanks to the government. But yes, this was supposed to be so that the everyday people that got impacted by COVID and couldn't go to work and couldn't get their job and couldn't get whatever, could keep, the lights on and food on their table, and for employers to go ahead and continue to pay people. Right. There's a lot. And, I don't think they should be allowed to get away with this. And are they going to see jail time? No, they should pay all that money back to the government.
I think they should pay it back. I definitely think they should pay it back, because Chris Brown, you saw where he just sold out every night in South Africa, which was one of the largest attendees of his tour. So he's got the money. I think they need to pay it back. All right, our algoriters and viewers, we've all heard of designer drip, but should taxpayers foot the bill for it? Because you do know that these pandemic loans are our tax dollars. So do you guys believe that celebrities who make that makes millions and millions and millions on top of millions should be using our tax dollars for their lavish lifestyle? Jump in the chat. Let me know what you think. And also, do celebrities like Chris Brown and Lil Wayne believe that they're above the law, or is this just another case of bad advice? Sound off, jury. I want to know, should they get away with using our tax dollars to fund their lavish lifestyle, because they already are millionaires, they still make millions, but they're going to use our money, our tax dollars, to spend more on their lavish lifestyle, or should they be held accountable? Drop down there in the chat. Let's see.
I'll say one thing.
I want one of those PPE Birkin bags that Attorney Weiss was talking about, because I didn't get one. And
I'm down to South Florida. Everybody's got one except my wife and my daughter, and they're both yelling at me all the time. So they want theirs. And I told them I've got to earn it the right way. But look, one of the things having to do with PPP was this money was given out, right? You needed to apply to have it forgiven. And when you were, because they were loans, and then you could get them forgiven. So if you used them the right way, your loan's forgiven. If you didn't use it the right way, like these two, gentlemen putting it that way, took the money, their loan shouldn't be forgiven. So pay it back plus interest.
Yeah, I agree. I did my PP loan through Bank of America, which keeps it above board. Yep. And believe me, I had to supply all of the evidence in order for it to be forgiven. All right, Abby NYC, welcome back, Abby. Thank you. I thought you weren't joining us tonight. The MM family says $1,000 meet and greet with Chris Brown. That's correct. And remember, he was taking those pictures. Christopher Liverman says, I'm sure Trump doesn't care. Jeanette Hunter said held accountable. Lakers in 5 said they should cut the check before it goes to court. And they definitely don't want to end up here in celebrity court. All right, everybody, be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, be sure to hit that share button and invite your friends over to check out the show so that they can learn the law and also gossip about some celebrities' wrongdoing. Also, turn on your notifications. And as usual, we love it when you jump down in the comments section and be the jury members and help us make these cases make sense to all. Next up now to Washington, D.C., that is, where Rep. Matt Gaetz faces allegations of having illegal relations with a 17-year-old. Gaetz has denied all accusations, claiming he's the victim of a political smear campaign. But with prosecutors investigating possible sex trafficking charges, this case raises serious questions. Should elected officials be held to a higher moral standard, or does the court of public opinion rush to convict too soon? I'm going to go to you, Counselor Weiss.
Because we get all these fun individuals here in Florida, especially in South Florida.
Right.
So look, under federal law, transporting a minor across state lines for sexual purposes, that's a crime, right? I don't care who you are. I don't care
That's sex trafficking.
A celebrity, I don't care what you are, right? And the age of consent in this state is 18. So if she is 17, problem number one. If she came across court, state lines, problem number two. And yes, these are the people that we are all supposed to be looking up to, politicians. They're supposed to lead by example. And unfortunately, I think it's what? Do as I say, not as I do, is what we're getting out there. And it's getting worse and worse. And I'm just concerned what it's going to look like come January 20 and afterwards, for the next 4 years. Now, again, they're jumping on that. They're throwing it out there. He is a celebrity if he likes it or not, right? He is involved with Trump. He was picked by Trump. He's all over the news. He backed out because he was forced to. So he's out there. He's got to watch his back. He's got to clean up his act. And even if he's not doing anything, again, the court of public opinion, they're going to look at what they perceive. And just like we spoke about the other day, if there's the perceived improprietariness or perceived bad acts having to do with the attorney that was handling the prosecution in the Trump case, then same thing here. He is perceived to have done wrong, and until he proves himself otherwise, everybody in the public is going to say he did wrong.
Right. Attorney Carter, let me ask this question. He could face both federal and state charges, and with minors, especially in the state that this is happening in, right? It could be severe penalties, and one of their penalties for sex trafficking of minors is life in prison. Is that correct?
I believe you are correct, Your Honor. I got to tell you though that and I don't know if it's that, but when I read the allegations here, you know what it reminded me of? Diddy. We're talking about sex with minors. We're talking about also withholding evidence. So when the congressional committee said, "Hey, turn over your emails," stuff like that, he was like, "What emails? I don't know what you're talking about." Witness tampering. He's calling witnesses, offering them stuff to not testify, to testify falsely. This is all the stuff that Diddy couldn't get bail for, and they can't decide whether to charge him. And the weird part is this almost didn't come out at all. That's why Matt Gaetz tried to resign from office even before he got the appointment with Trump, because he figured if he was not part of the House, then they wouldn't release this information. They still released it, but the DOJ has not filed charges now. Now imagine anybody else who had these kind of allegations against them.
That's disgusting.
Not having even a jaywalking ticket.
That's really bad. All right, Pimp and Pout, New York City by Tokyo Co. says, "Love your hair, Attorney Shatan." Sammy Musa said, "Gaetz is a pedophile, spend thousands of dollars on drugs and hookers." Oh, y'all be knowing the tea. Yeah, I'm from Texas. Mr. Weiss, you better work representing the caller who hasn't been around. I love it. All right, Christopher Liverman says Sean is on point tonight. Yeah, he's on fire.
And he looks good with that haircut.
I
listen to the pre-party talk. Attorney Turner's got phenomenal looking hair. Attorney Carter, he's looking all clean.
Right.
Your Honor, you always look spot on, so I don't got to say
thank you,
nothing.
sir.
I mean,
I
and I'm
appreciate
here
it.
with
And
my
you-
ugly green sweater.
You fit right in, sir. You're clean too. All right, algoriters, is this just another example of powerful man thinking the rules don't apply to him? Or are we too quick to judge without all the facts?
Your Honor, here's what I think it is there are two separate paths, right? So the Department of Justice has passed on this Matt Gaetz prosecution, which means that they don't have enough, in their opinion, to get an indictment and to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he did these things. And yet, if the chitlins stink, that means they're dirty, right? In this case, Matt Gaetz has enough stench around him that everybody who's touched this or looked at this file recognizes that he's not a good guy, right? Whether there's enough to get him in prison or not, that's a different thing. But this doesn't even address the fact that he has that odd adoption of the grown man that nobody really understands, right? So as it relates to him, I think the right decision was to remove him from public life. Whether or not they have enough for a conviction is a different story. But we have to ask ourselves, but I guess we're past the point because nobody cares because we have our president-elect, are these the type of people that we want leading the country, right? I don't even know if I want Matt Gaetz valeting my car, right? I definitely am glad that he's not going to be the attorney general. And so let's thank God for that. You know, these small favors. Hope that he retires into the sweet night and just goes away.
Well, you know what? I hear you, Attorney Turner, and before this president's second term, I would agree with you. But how can you have that standard when your sitting president, your upcoming sitting president, was charged with felonies, sexual abuse, bank fraud?
Well, at least we don't have pedophilia with the president.
But sexual assault was just as bad. But I'm just saying that's the new standard. Like that's almost like the stamp of approval to be a part of the political scene right now, if you ask me. So the question that I always had was if something like this happened to other people prior to the Trumpism, is what I call Trump politics, their entire political career would have been over. Right?
Absolutely.
Would have been completely done. The public trust as an elected official would not be anything. They might as well go ahead and volunteer and legal, what is it called? Legal aid.
Right. Don't you guys remember years and years and years ago, we studied it in like social studies, what happened with who was that? Gary Hart? He didn't even do anything that bad. And he had to withdraw his candidacy for presidency because he had cheated on his wife. And that wasn't even a crime. I mean, look at how far we've fallen.
Yeah, right. The candidate, the African American man that ran for governor in Florida still can't resuscitate his political career. What was his name? I can't remember his name, but he was cheating on his wife. But she said she knew that he played both sides of the field. But it's funny how he's been completely chastised out of the political process, out of the political scene. But people like Matt Gaetz and all the others are being rewarded in essence, because he did get the nomination for, being the attorney general. And another thing that I want to say here,
Gillum.
He never practiced law.
Yes.
For more than 2 years.
It was Andrew Gillum. And maybe the whole reason why Gaetz got the nod first for AG was so that when he couldn't take it and then Trump put Pam Bondi in, everybody would be so happy because she was the AG here in Florida. And
I do want to remind you of one thing though. Until January 20th, the Justice Department is run by Biden and Merrick Garland. They could have done something about this. They're not going to do anything about it either. So it might not be just Trump doing this.
Yeah, that's super sad. All right, everybody.
Let's Christopher Liverman reminding us about poor, depraved Anthony Weiner. Like that was a political career that just spiraled down and down.
Right.
And he didn't break the law either. He was just a pervert who kept sharing like D shots on Twitter and in text messages with women, and his political career tanked. I always loved his first wife, though. Heba. She
I
was
thought you were going to say you loved his first D pig.
no. His first wife. I don't
I'm
know.
gonna hold you in contempt.
But
You need some cold water, ma'am.
no, they've done a documentary about his life. And so his wife was like a special advisor to Hillary Clinton, all this stuff. But she's brilliant because she's now engaged to this billionaire. And so I'm like, level up, honey, level up.
All right, every NYC, the MM family says, but it's politically correct to speak out against it as a man. But in reality, men still have a real problem checking men about some stuff. Hey, I can agree with that. Christopher Lieberman says, look at his forehead. That would turn me off. Let's see that picture, Bailiff, of that forehead. Laker in 5 says, lock him up. Jay says, Jason trying to secure his seat at the table. Oh, gosh, that is funny. Sammy Musa says, Andrew Gilliam. That's right. And Abby NYC, the MM family, says, sexual stuff seems to slide outside of kids. Very interesting. All right, let's keep going. Finally, or close to finally, actress Blake Lively is suing her former co-host for alleged harassment on set. While the details remain sealed, sources say the lawsuit includes claims of verbal abuse and inappropriate conduct. Hollywood is no stranger to legal drama, but should celebrities air their grievances in court or behind closed doors? Attorney Turner, let's go to you on this. This would be considered, Attorney Turner, workplace harassment, correct?
Yes, this would be sexual harassment in the workplace. And so the question that you posed is an interesting one to me because it suggests that somehow celebrities should not try to avail themselves of the same laws that exist to protect everyone else. And I imagine, I don't know Blake Lively, but hey, Blake, call me. I've loved you since Gossip Girl.
Oh, wow.
But I'm just saying, we could be besties. But I imagine that she really had a lot of consternation before she asserted this lawsuit because of the attention it was going to invite to her. And she also has a very high profile husband, right? In Ryan Reynolds. And so in some respects, this lawsuit is suggesting that her coworker didn't give two squats about her husband, right? And basically is calling him a punk because if he's doing all these things to her that were severe and pervasive enough to result in workplace harassment, then he's like, you're just a regular actress and I can do whatever I think and want to do to you. And I don't care who you're married to. And I don't care that you're a star. So I think this is going to be a really interesting thing to figure out because I've not seen this movie, but the movie has had its own controversy, right? And it's a movie about a woman who was a victim of abuse in a relationship. And so the question's probably going to involve a lot of granular details about what were they doing when they were acting and what did he do outside of it. And since people say that like method acting is a thing, which means you're always in character, you might be like, yeah, when I smacked you at the catering cart, that's because we were in character, right? And she's like, well, no, I wasn't acting then. So I think it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Absolutely. Jay says this story, I got you, Weiss, stay right there. Jay says this story is so crazy. It's like, I don't know what to believe. Christopher Lieberman says the PR person says she threatened him if he didn't comply to her demands and then made a PR plan. Inadvertently next said, yes, Linda Mack. Abby NYC, the MM family said, I wonder if her and her husband were at odds about him not kicking his butt. Okay, Attorney Weiss, what were you going to say?
No, the M like kicking the butt that, he put out a movie at the same time. But look, this whole movie had to do with, standing up for what, and no spoiler alert here, but it all had to do with, standing up, doing what was right, breaking the sustained different types of abuse and all of that. And, the sexual harassment that came had to do with, I think, improvised kissing scenes and comments. So I don't think it was It wasn't a hit. It wasn't a smack. I'm not saying that makes it less important or less damaging, but at the same time, this whole movie was supposed to put out the theme that you need to stand up for yourself. We need to stop this type of abuse and violence. And for her coming out and saying that she was subject to it during the shooting of this movie, not good. It's not a good look.
Right.
But again, there's also some questions as to, is she exaggerating this? Did this actually happen? So I think it needs to be investigated. I think it only made 350 million. So maybe now a lot of people will go watch it. And next thing you know, it'll be
It'll blow up.
million.
All right. Tracy Odom said, did Attorney Carter get his hair cut at the same barber as Luigi? Attorney,
let me answer that, because I've gotten 2 comments here about my haircut. The other person thought my wife cut it. I want to let you guys know. Remember, I'm high class. I'm a big time attorney. I went to Sports Clip. This cost me $34. Don't you be saying my business like that. All right.
Attorney Carter, let me ask you this though. This is a little on the serious side.
Yeah.
How do you know where the line ends, where it begins, and when does it move as it relates to actors on set? Because it's almost like they are required to be so many people and so many things in so many ways. How do you really prove this type of allegation? Or what do you her attorneys have to prove?
No, it's hard. Here's why. Because, like you said, there's been a case, for instance, I think it was brought a few years ago about a writer in a writer's room who said, hey, they were saying dirty jokes, all kinds of things you couldn't say in a bank, but they were writing comedy. That's what they do, right? In this case, so one of her claims, for instance, that there was unwanted physical conduct. In a couple of scenes, he kissed her more than she wanted to be kissed. That he also was trying to get more sex scenes added into the program. And by the way, warnings to having some explicit sex scenes. And she's like, that's not what I agreed to. Inappropriate remarks. He's also doing weird things like showing her nude pictures and talking about, the woman he had last night. The last thing I got was, and this is where you don't have any defense on his part. She says that him and the producer, what's his name, Baldoni, and the producer would come into her dressing room while she was undressed. And, want to talk about whatever, without knocking or whatever. And, if you take her allegations at face value, I think he's gone too far. You could argue that I had a method thing going on, that the kissing scenes, I didn't know, I wasn't supposed to do tongue. It was a movie, right? But on the other hand, by the way, I've been in a couple movies, and that's the excuse I use for my wife. Baby, if you're looking at this, don't be mad at me. I'm making a movie. All right. But the point is that seriously, like I said, and I think one of the attorneys said earlier, it's like, there's Attorney Turner, you get in the character, but there's certain things that'll be outside of character. Like at no point was this character supposed to be showing porn to somebody else. Like, I'm not sure that was part of the character. And the real question is going to be on the Amber Heard side here, right? Because remember, once you get 2 celebrities facing off, then it becomes a situation of credibility where one side, there'll be a team Baldoni, there'll be team Lively. We'll lose thousands of Facebook friends about it. You'll be divorced about it. You know how that works. And we'll probably never get to the full truth.
All right. So
were you in the movies watching the movie trying to get tongue kissing? Or
I was in a feature film.
In the movie.
Okay, you guys, though, here's the thing about the kissing. I've been thinking about it. You guys probably won't because you're married, but Al might be. It's the holiday season. And I've been wondering, are people walking around with personal mistletoe just like over their head waiting to be kissed? Is anybody who's under the mistletoe, not a creeper? And also, how do I go out in the city of Pittsburgh and find somebody?
Order in my court. Order in my court.
I just think that.
Hello, order in my court.
I got a gavel for you.
That's a real gavel. Order in my court. Someone get that woman a man to kiss.
But no, seriously, I brought it up tongue in cheek, but there are cultural norms that relate to this time of year. So if you kiss someone under the mistletoe, is it harassment or is it just cultural norm? But as it relates to my personal mistletoe, I have it in my purse. I can pull it out whenever possible for anybody who's down, but I only do it for the handsome. So
Celebrity Court is going straight to hell. I swear, straight to hell. You guys are taking this show straight to hell. All right, algoritmers, is this a power play for justice, or is Hollywood once again playing out its drama in the courtroom? Should stars handle disputes privately or shine a light on the toxic behavior on the set? It's your call, Joey. Drop down in the chat and let me know what your thoughts are on the Blakely case. Next up, oh boy, one of our favorites. Yep, Luigi Mangione has been arraigned on federal charges, including murder, stalking, and firearm offenses in connection with the December 4th, 2024 shooting of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson in Manhattan. Prosecutors allege that Mangione meticulously planned the assassination, motivated by grievances against the U.S. healthcare system. If convicted, he could face the death penalty. Mangione has pleaded not guilty to the charges. Attorney Carter, what are your thoughts about this young man? And why does it appear that he's coming out as some type of sex symbol because of this? It reminds me kind of like Ted Bundy and what was the one that was killing the black boys? That Jeffrey Dahmer. You remember how they it was like the anti-hero kind of attracted to the anti-hero. What are your thoughts on this, Attorney Carter?
Well, I can't judge his looks. Ladies can do that better than I can. He looks pretty handsome though, I imagine. But aside from that, here's what's going to be interesting here is that the feds don't normally come in this early on this type of thing. Usually don't have federal and state charges at the same time. What happens is the state will make its charges, and let's say they don't get a conviction, like in the Rodney King case. Then the feds will come in behind that and say, hey, let's make sure we get this right. Feds are like, no, we're coming out front now. Because what you're not going to do is start shooting our CEOs, become a sex symbol, get your own Bravo show, right? Not on our watch. All right, that's not what's going to happen. You're not going to have the real killers of New York City. And as a result, they're going to come after him. They're bringing terrorist charges, right? Terrorism. This is 9/11 stuff. You go to Gitmo. He's not even going to jail. You go into Gitmo if we convict you on this. They're not playing. And I think because of the notoriety he's gotten, because it's not just good looks, he's good looking, but more importantly, it's the cause. Right? Was it depose, deny, defend? He is a folk hero, and they're like, we're gonna nip this in the bud right now. We're gonna let you know that you ain't gonna be shooting no more CEOs.
Why is our attorney Turner in the chat saying he's actually a hottie? Luigi is a hottie, even though he's a criminal. I need for you need some ice cubes, counselor. You need some ice cubes, counselor. Christopher Liverman said
the haircut that people are saying that he and Attorney Carter got. I don't know if you saw this. There was a commentator that was saying that Luigi so there's no like barbers who are trying to keep your cut fresh when you go to your hearing. So they said that his fresh cut was a signal to the court and everyone else that the inmates respected him, because some inmate, probably a brother, who had some clippers because he got it because he had money on his books, decided to make sure Luigi looked right when he went to his hearing. So the haircut has its whole thing.
That's just so bad. Christopher Liverman said he's actually had a whole gallery of women in court today. Mm-hmm. Eric Whitmore, you've been around enough ladies to know when someone is fine. Abby NYC, the MM family says, and 20 brides while in jail. Yep. Christopher Liverman said he's a vigilante. Jay says, what does Jay say here? Jay says, but yet no terrorist charges for those who engaged in insurrection. Oh my gosh, let's not even go down that route. And then Eric Whitmore, yes, they didn't with Amon Bundy. He got acquitted and shot at feds. All right, that's right. So what is our conclusion with this? Because remember, at first I thought, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I thought he pled guilty.
He did.
So he has pulled his plea back and changed it.
He didn't plead guilty, did he?
I thought he pleaded guilty at one time. I thought he pled guilty. He wasn't denying it. Now he's denying it.
Well, I'm not sure he's denying it, but he hasn't officially pled guilty.
Right. So the thing that he did was he decided to no longer fight extradition. So
Right.
that's why he left Pennsylvania and he went to New York. But the substance of the charges in his plea was not yet determined. And somebody indicated he pled not guilty today.
Well, today he pled not guilty, but I thought before.
And pled not guilty before. But I have a feeling that they're setting him up for some sort of mental breakdown or not fit to stand trial. Look, I mean, the whole thing is that this reminds me of the movie The Joker. He's getting everybody to they called him clown, so that everybody dressed up as clowns. So I have a feeling we're in for some nice news coverage of this, and I think it's going to become a political spectacle, and we're going to see what happens. I think he's mobilizing people to support him and get his back. And one thing
that I've learned about this experience is white women love criminals in the United States.
Well, I don't know if it's just white women. I mean, he is off the charts handsome. And so there's this comedian who's on Instagram, and first name is Sarah, I forget her last name, but she did a whole thing on Trump during the last election. She's got this huge following. And so she had a kind of bit where she was pretending to interview potential jurors who were all women, and their introduction was like it was a dating show. And she was like, "Hi, my name is Sarah, and I like to windsurf," and like it was so funny. But I think that people are struggling here because here's the thing: Attorney Carter has indicated this in jest many times. People struggle to hold good-looking people accountable. And so he's handsome. And so the unspoken thing that's going to happen as they try this case is, even with the evidence, there are some jurors who just aren't going to believe it because they think good-looking people are inherently good.
He's too handsome to have done it.
Right. Okay. All right, everybody. All right. This is the part of the show that we go to you, the jury, to answer your questions, but there are no questions. So we're going to go straight to the verdict. All right. Is Luigi guilty or not guilty? Attorney Turner. Oh, gosh. I can't believe you, Attorney Turner.
He's
just
too good. We have to wait for the actual justice system to decide.
Oh, please, Attorney Carter.
He's guilty. I tell you why. Because my wife looked at that and said, "Ooh," and you know what? If you turn my wife on, you're guilty.
Attorney Weiss.
I think he's guilty, but I still think there's more to this story. Like Your Honor and I have said in the past, I think there's a lot going on, and it's all going to come out.
I agree. I'm Alan. I'm the judge here in the celebrity court, and I'm going to find Luigi guilty. Guilty is charged, and I can't wait for them to uncover all the goodies that are associated with this court. Next up, let's see who's next. Blake Lively, guilty or not guilty? Attorney Weiss. Or no, actually, the co-host. Her co-host. Would her co-host be guilty or not guilty?
I think her co-host is guilty of crossing the line.
Ooh, Attorney Carter.
I agree. I'm on team. What's it?
Like
here.
Team Live.
Attorney Turner.
I'm on Team Blake Lively all day, but I'm still not sure what happened here. So I'm gonna say not guilty until we get more.
Could it be that he almost looks like your husband?
He does, doesn't he? Now, on that alone, he should be guilty of all things. But
I'm Alan. I'm your judge here in Celebrity Court, and we're gonna find her co-host not guilty. Not guilty. You can't tell the man to be sexy and get into character, and then she decide when she wants him out of character when it's too much because her husband is at home complaining. Next up, Matt Gaetz, is he guilty or not guilty of playing with the little girls? Attorney Carter.
He is guilty of that and that ridiculous eyebrows. Guilty, guilty, guilty.
Attorney Weiss.
I just wanted to quote you and now Attorney Carter. Guilty, guilty, guilty. That's it.
Attorney Turner.
So Abby NYC in the chat has indicated I need to leave the pretty boys alone, and I take that to heart. And so that doesn't have to do with Matt Gaetz because he is not pretty. But I just wanted to say I received that, Abby. I think Matt Gaetz is guilty of this and a whole host of things that we do not know about.
All right, I'm Al, and I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court, and I'm going to find Matt Gaetz guilty. Guilty of looking weird, guilty of looking like a comic character, guilty of having a big forehead, guilty of having a crooked head, and guilty of being a creep. Look at that. Oh, no. And he was going to be our attorney general. Everything. Don't he look like Beavis the Butthead, that show? Like one of those.
Absolutely. That's what they say in the chat, too. That is exactly what it looks like.
Tracy Odom says, what happens if a jury decides he's not guilty? Can a judge overrule it? Absolutely. You know, that's exactly how it can work here, but we're going to build that into the show more and more and more. Next up.
Well, he ain't good looking, so he can be found.
I know he's going to be guilty, right? Guilty or not guilty. Next up is Chris Brown and Lil Wayne. Guilty or not guilty? Attorney Weiss.
They are guilty of being morons, and they are guilty of just needing to pay back that PPP money plus a lot of interest.
Attorney Turner.
So I'm going to go on a different path with this because we talked like a couple months ago, I think it was, about one of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and her husband who got caught up in a similar issue involving these loans. Here's what I think. I think the government was sloppy in response to the pandemic. They gave people too much latitude. And so even though Lil Wayne and Chris Brown were flossing, I'm going to say they're not guilty because the rules were not clear.
All right, Attorney Carter.
I'm going to say they're not guilty by reason of the fact that I'm happy that somebody was smart enough to steal the money when I was too stupid to steal.
All right, I'm Al, and I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court, and I'm going to find them guilty, but not only am I going to find them guilty because it's our tax dollars that's paying for that lavish lifestyle, I know good and darn well that Chris Brown and Lil Wayne did not fill out any of those government documents. I'm going to find also their business managers or their CPAs double guilty, triple guilty, because they know that they are the ones that really did all the lying. These two characters were only the ones to just, they didn't know. But they did. I mean, I'm sure they knew where the money was coming from. So that's why I'm finding them guilty. Next up, and last but not least, Pastor Jamal Bryant, is he guilty or not guilty of spending more money on his other kids than his side chick? Attorney Weiss.
He is guilty of not treating all of his children equally.
All right, Attorney Turner.
I can't say it any better than Attorney Weiss. Guilty.
Attorney Carter.
I can say it better. All right, because let me tell you what he's guilty of. Pastor, you listening. You're supposed to lay hands on people, not your penis. Right? You lay hands on the parishioners. Guilty.
You just mad because he's
Attorney Carter.
You a hater. Attorney Carter, you are being a hater because he's got options. All right, I'm Al, I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court, and we're going to find Pastor Brian guilty. I totally agree. You have to treat them all the same, even if it was one that happened and you didn't want to have it because your pullout game is a little bit weak. All right. All right. Today's
wait, Attorney Carter, what did you say? Pull and what?
Pull and pray.
Pull and pray. That's right. Pull and pray.
His pull and pray game was weak. All right. Today's cases remind us that the law doesn't discriminate between fame and autonomy. From child support battles to misuse of public funds, every story shows the double-edged sword of celebrity life. But what do you think? Should celebrities get a pass, or should fame come with even greater accountability? Thank you for joining us. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, turn on your notifications and continue to join us here on Celebrity Court and get into those comments. Join us next time on Celebrity Court, where we keep fame and justice on trial. Until then, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep demanding accountability. See you in court next time.
And Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah,
yeah, Merry Christmas,
Kwanzaa, Happy holidays.
Absolutely.
Happy Festivus.
Happy Festivus to the rest of it.
Court is now adjourned.